podcast that tries to explain fictional worlds using science. I'm Simon.
And I'm Jeff.
Jeff,
Simon.
you're a big fan of fan. What's the word for that stuff that fans make?
Fandoms?
Nah, well, yes, but also
Fan wikis.
Close. When they write stories about things that they like.
Fan fiction.
That's what I was looking for. You're a big fan of fan fiction, right?
It's definitely something that I've read and listened to read sometimes.
Huh. Wait, you know what? That was just a shot in the dark, but what is your go-to universe for fan fiction? You like a Trekkie?
For fan fiction? I mean, aside from My Immortal, I do enjoy how... yeah,
we have discussed your love of that author.
It's so bad. But no, I do enjoy the, especially in these spoopy times, as we record a little before Halloween, the SCP Foundation. Ooh,
the spoopiest.
Right?
It is the spoopiest. So that's today's episode, guys. It's the SCPs Foundation. For those who don't quite know what that is. It's really kind of difficult. It's a fan fiction, but it doesn't.
Is it though?
I think it is. I would describe it as a fan fiction, because it doesn't. Mm-hmm. But I guess you're right. It doesn't really have like a universe that you're working on.
I mean, it definitely does.
Yeah, but it doesn't.
I'm just saying, is it actually a fan fiction, or is it actually a foundation that keeps all these terrifying and maybe not terrifying things?
Well, I think at the beginning of the show, when we're describing what it is, we should.
Yeah, and I did kind of tip my hand a little bit, didn't I?
Yeah. So it's user generated stories about items or creatures that are being held in containment by a foundation called the SCP Foundation, which I believe SCP just stands for Special Containment Protocol, right?
Secure, Contain, Protect.
I believe that is just their... Oh, maybe.
What they say after the fact or something on the website?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I believe it is just...
That could be. I don't know.
Maybe. I have not done... Or I have not looked at SCP in a little while, as I am a...
So you're a busy student
these days? Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's what I was going to go for. Yeah, it's just user-generated weirds. It's almost like creepypasta, but it's not funny. It's serious.
Yeah, that's a good explanation. It's a serious creepypasta.
For those who know, creepypasta is...
Yeah, as we unpack creepypasta also.
But it's just stories of like weird happenings. It's kind of like a Twilight Zone-esque. It's like Twilight Zone fanfic, but without the Twilight Zone being a universe.
Without the moral in each episode.
Yeah. Yes, very much so. Without I guess Black Mirror, but it predates Black Mirror. So Anyway, so what me and Jeff are gonna do is we're gonna randomly generate some SCPs, and we're gonna try and explain them on the spot. So we don't know what we're gonna get. Is it gonna be like a creature that can walk through walls? Is it gonna be, I don't know, a cabin that can't be tracked by GPS, but people who go into it feel refreshed? Who's to say?
I think I need to ask part of the rules on this. Are we going to edit out the time it takes us to read the entry, or are we also reading the entry?
I think we should.
Mic.
Just scan through the descriptions, because sometimes they're not.
So we have a general concept of what's happening and not actually understanding it to stay on brand. Got it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to go through and look at this one. There's abridged test logs. I'm not going to go through that. I mean, if it takes too long, I'll edit it down for us to describe stuff or read through it.
Just dead air of trying to read.
Yeah, but I think that we could pretty easily just get a gist of what's going on. I don't think that we have to really get in depth into these things. We don't have to be why is it described as cozy and inviting? because it's cozy and
Right.
inviting. Yeah. Okay. So I think. Do you want to randomly generate, or do you want me to randomly generate?
Well, I just clicked random SCP.
Okay. What'd you get?
It did give me the same thing that I was testing the last time I hit random SCP. So I don't know if this is a good randomizer.
Oh, maybe. Do I get a different one?
Yep, I am 3 for 3, the same random SOP or SCP.
SOP. We've been spending
Yeah.
too much time at work.
Yep.
I have a good one. I have SCP-5216.
Yep, that's the one.
Up. Let's try and skip that one. Random SCP.
Is it the same one again?
It is
because
the
that's
same
what happened
one.
to me.
Wait, this.
This is a really bad randomizer.
But before
it
was
randomizes you to the same one page.
This is insane because before, like, I have gotten several random SCPs today, and now it is only giving me
Maybe
5216. No,
need to write an SCP entry on the SCP randomizer.
oh, there we go. Yeah. At this specific time,
That's this episode. Us writing a thing.
us just creating an SCP. I would not be opposed to it, but you're right. I cannot not get this SCP. What is going on? Even when I like come from out of the site, I still get an SCP that is
The same one.
the same one. It's so insane. This is crazy. Have we just like stumbled upon?
An actual SCP.
Well, obviously it's not. But it's got to be like, can we go to a specific series? Okay, we could just do that. If I come from a different, it still gives me that. Anyway, so we could just do this. List. We just do a list of all the SCPs and randomly grab one.
All right, that works.
Yeah. So how about this one right here? Scar tissue. SCP-481. It is. Oh. Those are the containment procedures. I don't care about that. It was originally a cluster pattern of scars, roughly corresponding to a variably partial map of India, a part of India. They don't give me the specific area in India.
It was redacted.
Yes, but it appeared on a woman. That's all I know. Since at least sometime in the 1990s, SCP has since spread to a different person who was an agent of SCP. When SCP first manifested on the woman, it appeared as a small series of crisscrossing scars that has been found to be corresponding to, again, that neighborhood. It's not, no one knows why it's being mapped, but it's just a recreation of this town. So what is going on here? It seems like it's like a, So this is what it is. It's just a series of scars that are a map of this town.
Right. Let's see, what is going on?
So we don't
sympathetic effects of the scars and the city are readily apparent, so it
responds,
is implying that the scars and the city like are connected beyond just, the shape that the scar takes.
Yes. I don't know. I think it must be the city to the scar. I don't think you can change the scar.
And it changes
the city. Yeah, I don't think you're putting...
It says as you expand the city, the scar does grow.
Okay. I was thinking, like, what if you, like, put, like, coconut cream or, like the skin ointment on the scar that, like, makes scars become less visible. Like,
it goes away.
Yeah, it does, like, the entire town
the city
just, like,
just goes
slowly
away.
vanish.
Well, it does not seem to be the case because it says later, someone who self-harms and adds to the scar does not reflect in the city, and that scar goes away within 20 days.
Huh.
So it's definitely the city
on
influencing the scar. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it also says that it is hypothesized that self-inflicted damage is a compulsory response to violence and other crime in the city. Self-harm appears to be associated with high crime neighborhoods. The thing is that this is on this person's back,
Is
right?
it on their back?
I thought it was on their back. Oh, maybe it's not. I think it's just there. So here's the question: on the abdomen? Okay. Um, this is crazy. Okay, so I'm trying to think. Do we think maybe it's aliens? Um,
Just abducting this one person and using them as a GPS.
uh, yes. No, I was thinking like, what if it was aliens like trying to like, I don't know. I had an image of like a laser beam that they were using to cut out the shape of this, but I realized why would they be doing that?
That's a good question.
It's snowing outside. Huh. This is so difficult. I was not expecting this to be like for the first one to be like this is a stumper.
I mean, the first one just like out the gate doesn't really leave a whole lot of meat on the bones to work with. It is a city that is connected to a scar pattern that apparently can spread to different people.
Yeah, so that makes me think the fact that it can spread makes me think it's like a virus or a fungi or something like that. Right? That makes sense.
Yeah, something to that effect. I don't like I'm trying to figure out how a virus or a fungus could have like a connection to the city and influence
Yeah.
the person to like self-harm in sections of the city and like try to add to that bit of the scar.
I got it. Okay, so there's a company that is trying to create like a self-updating like three-dimensional map of the world, and they're like, okay, let's just take a city and let's just try and like create a map of the city that will update constantly.
Okay.
So it uses satellite imagery, and it connects it to like either like a like I don't know if it's nanomachines or if it's just like a fungi that has like a specific receiver, but it can receive the information and it builds the like it was supposed to be on just like a table or something like that where it builds like a shape of the city, but it escaped their system and now it is infecting humans, and every single time it does it just creates it's still connected to
Like
the
a
original.
new map of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. I like the idea of like the nanobots having like a connection to satellite to make the map. I think, and yeah, that explains why when the city expands, the scars expand, and when the scars expand without the city, they get like healed.
Yeah.
Which says like the machines are, healing the wound.
Yeah, they're like trying to they're trying to keep the city the map from being changed because they're like no, this doesn't exist.
Yeah. I think the last point we need to kind of touch on with this one is it does say like high crime areas of the city
So I
like do drive the person to like self-harm in those sections of the map.
So I was thinking, maybe the original purpose of this map was to like track, like statistics, things like that, and the high crime. So like whenever there's like a report of high crime, or there's like, whatever the original map was supposed to do, like it was just supposed to glow, but when it's put to a human being, it like causes like pain and itching and things like that cause you to like want to claw at it.
Want to claw it out. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. So
Cool.
that's, hey, we figured it out. We agreed right away on a thing.
Right away. Yeah, that one was. I think it was a little tougher because I realized we have to apply a narrative to make things make sense.
Yeah.
Okay, I got another one.
All right.
It's the Dream Catcher Spider, SCP-452.
Oh,
SCP-452.
hey, the randomizer's working again, by the way.
Oh, look at that. It's a colony of Latrodectus hesperus, or the Western American black widow, physically indistinguishable from normal spiders of its kind. SCP-452 has a preference to spin webs near areas where humans sleep, and when allowed to freely roam, will attempt to relocate if no humans sleep near its web for extended period of time over a week. Periods.
I just wants to be friends with people.
Yeah, it just likes to be around people. When a sleeping human subject within 5 meters of SCP web enters rapid eye movement sleep, SCP-452 suppresses the subject's ability to dream, even in subjects with chronic dreams and or nightmares. Subjects upon waking generally report having had restful sleep, though several subjects have also been reported feeling unusual, like they are missing something. Furthermore, if a specimen is used in this manner, bites any human within approximately 1 week from the initial event, the bitten subject will suffer vivid hallucinations in addition to normal effects of spider venom. It was recovered due to people, like, they found it because of these anomalous visions and like these horrible hallucinations. So it's a spider that steals people's dreams using its webs. Another
I mean,
tough one.
presumably it's webs. It doesn't necessarily say that it's webs, right?
It just says it has to spin a web near.
Well, I mean, spider web is just its home, so it could just be hanging out there.
That's true. That is
like
true.
to be near where the dreams are.
That's a good point.
Can we unpack chronic dreams? Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Like, oh man, I had a dream again last night. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
that's
like,
what happens.
Like I haven't had. I guess so. So here's also the issue. Everybody dreams, every night. You have everyone has 5 to 6 dreams every night.
You just don't necessarily remember.
Yeah,
them.
yeah. So here's the thing: is it chronic remembering your dreams, or is it just referring to every person all the time?
Right.
And I also don't think that. Do you dream during REM?
I think that's when you're supposed to dream, because that's like the deeper sleep when you dream.
Yeah. Okay. Then that is correct. Then. Yeah. So it's clearly like an amnesiac. Like it is. What I am seeing this doing, in a more general sense, is it is somehow blocking your memories of your dreams.
Yeah.
And then when it bites you, it
gives you the dreams back.
Oh yeah, but it is unblocking the memory of those dreams. So you just get a whole bunch of memories, a whole bunch of neural connections that get created at once, and that's what creates the vivid hallucinations. Because you're getting all the sense memories and things back.
Right. But how would they block dreaming? Or do we want to go the other way and
say that they're stealing dreams?
Assume that they're eating the dreams. Yeah.
This is Gengar.
Right.
I feel like eating the dreams is harder, but then you're saying that they're injecting the dreams.
Not that they're injecting the dreams, but part of the metabolic process and the creation of the venom is they have all of the the dream flavor that is added to the venom.
I think I get you're saying that there's when they inject, they're injecting the code for the dreams to be perceived.
Well, not even necessarily that, but based on the food that they're consuming that changes byproducts and whatever else that they produce. So in consuming the dreams, it makes or adds a hallucinogenic effect to the venom because whatever aspect of the dreams that they eat, however it's metabolized.
Okay.
So it's not like giving back the dream. It's just by consuming the dream, it makes them more like hallucinogenic.
Gotcha. I like this because you're right. It just has hallucinations. It doesn't say that it has to be the dreams that they have been stolen are the things that they are hallucinating.
Mm-hmm.
So I have an idea. I am thinking this kind of strangely. I don't think it says. It just says near. So I don't know how close it needs to be. However, if its web maybe has like a metallic component to it, and then it has like an electric field applied to it, so it becomes like a radar or like a radio array, or like at least an electromagnetic array, and then it as there's like electrical activity, increased electrical activity in your brain, the web is pushed or pulled, kind of depending on that, and because your brain has to expend extra energy to do that. Essentially, it's like leeching the electrical activity from your brain and storing it, and then the spider, maybe it captures like the physical movement or the electrical currents that are generated from this push and pull as energy.
Okay. Yeah.
And then the venom is just like something else. It's just completely different.
Well, I mean, like, they're obviously not actual, like, Black Widow spiders.
They just look like
so, like, they just look like it. So, yeah, they could have whatever extra, like, knock-on effects with their venom. It doesn't have to exactly be a Black Widow's venom.
Yeah, it's just whatever, it's just you just hallucinate. Like, that's just part of the thing. It's just part of the venom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was, I feel like that was a long walk. Very short.
But, we got there in the end, so it's fine.
Short glass of water.
It's all good.
Cool. Do you want to give us another random one?
Sure. Let me click
if it's going to be even more good
see if it actually randomizes it. Nope. It's just a different random one now. But yeah, let's go with this.
Okay.
We'll see how it do. SCP-1035. It is a pink woolen mitten, probably handmade, intended for wear by a small child. Interviews with family suggest that another mitten of similar appearance was lost up to a number of months prior to discovery. Its current location and whether it shares the effects is unknown. It's difficult to determine the precise date and time that it began to manifest its effects, although extrapolation from currently available medical records suggests the effects began in late February 19-something. Man, they sure are burying the lead on what effects this has, aren't they?
They really are. They want you to keep it's hooking, man. Everyone knows you gotta write these classified documents.
You gotta get 2 paragraphs in before you say what it actually does.
Exactly.
I mean, I guess I'll keep going. Maybe we'll find something. Okay, let's skip this garbage.
So far, just
any organic. I found it. It is 3 of 4 paragraphs in. Any organic matter placed within the mitten begins to enter a rapidly accelerated state of decomposition. Short-term exposure, less than 2 hours, is usually not harmful to human beings, as the human immune system is generally able to cope with the effects. Visible symptoms will begin to be displayed after 2 hours of exposure. Blah, blah, blah. Non-living substances, non-human life, and human subjects with pre-existing health conditions may experience different effects from the exposure, especially data expunged. Great. For a more comprehensive outline, look at this other chart.
So it's a mitten that gets found after its partner gets lost.
Mm-hmm.
That then when you put anything inside of it that's organic, it rots.
Yes.
Okay.
And a healthy immune system can prevent the rotting.
Okay. It feels like this is just like it's just a one dude, just someone who is just a real sicko who just keeps on giving this mitten to families. Like he steals their mittens, okay, and then he gives them back one of the two mittens that gets stolen, but he like fills the inside of it with like the necrotic venom of like spiders or like a bacteria that eats organic material.
Okay.
And that's just it. Like, it's just...
So he, like... Let's see. Yeah, so whatever small, like, cuts or something that might be on the hand. You know, the ones that you find whenever you use hand sanitizer.
Yeah. Or whenever you cut up peppers.
Right. They just get directly... Like, all of the... you know, bacterias and whatnot that they added to necrotize the flesh, I suppose, are just, like, as a powder inside the glove or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is just a guy who's just real into biologic warfare and is a real sicko.
Yeah, and I think I like the idea in that, like, with the route that you suggested, because it plays into... You know, if you have a healthy immune system, then it doesn't seem to have as much of an effect or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're generally able to cope with it. So the process of turning bacteria into bacteria powder makes it like
it inactivates
less
it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it needs like more of a bacterial load to do anything.
Yeah. 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 I like that. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I got a new one too.
Hey, is it the same one I got?
I don't think so. No, mine's a stain on a wall.
Oh, yep, that's the random one I got now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 4439.
I wonder if their random generator is based off of something that
like updates on like the minute or something.
Yeah. It's like seed isn't as variable as it maybe should be.
Yeah.
Should we do this stain on a wall?
I can't physically stop you.
Okay.
And also, if you want me to pull one up, I also pulled up the stain on the wall.
So this is SCP-4439. It's a stain on a wall located in the second floor bedroom of a house on the outskirts of someplace in Missouri. The size of the stain is approximately 10 centimeters in height and 50 centimeters wide. That's pretty big, actually.
Yeah.
It's located on the bottom of the easternmost wall of the room. The stain is able to expand or shrink itself on its own accord, reacting to the physical presence of human beings or lack thereof. In isolation, SCP-4439 begins to spread across all hard surfaces at a rate of 1 meter per hour. In the presence of a human adult, however, SCP-4439 becomes docile, gradually shrinking back to its original size and shape. Laboratory tests indicate that SCP-4439 is comprised of soot, dust, skin cells, and traces of human blood. Why? I was so hoping we were going to get ones that were like, this is a crocodile that can walk through walls. And instead we've got nothing but things that are like...
No, instead we have weird biological warfare mittens and like slime molds. I'm pretty sure this is just a slime mold.
I think this is just a slime mold. I think the person who just did the analysis of what it was comprised of is just real bad at their job.
It was dust, and then also everything that is in dust.
So I think, how about this? I think it's a slime mold. I agree with this. That like grows and shrinks. However, I think that it is one that rapidly dies, like it rapidly decays, and that is why whenever it's tested, it's already just dead.
You just get soot and dust. Yeah.
You just get like a bunch of like garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just a slime mold.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at the discovery section of it because it does involve a lot of people screaming, apparently.
It
Um,
does.
the homeowners scream, uh, search the house, few drops of blood on the bedroom floor, uh, and then a child is crying, and this is just a slime mold.
That's what it is. It's a slime mold. Cool. I'm.
Upon entry to the house, spread over the most of the interior. Second floor appeared to be a point of origins, which I guess, yeah, I mean, when it has a food source, it like kind of coalesces on the food source, and that's like people like the gross human leavings that people leave
Like
just by
skin
existing.
cells and
Yeah,
blood.
yeah. It's just a slime mold.
All right, let's see if I can get a different SCP this time. Nope, still the slime mold. Still the slime mold. Okay, go back to my list of
we have to find SCPs that take longer to explain than slime mold,
yes.
so that we can get a new random SCP.
Well, I'm gonna do Series 2 SCP called the Wailing.
Do you want to do lowest rated pages?
We could. I feel like lowest rating would give us some.
Just hot garbage.
Yeah, I actually think that's a good one. Lowest rated pages. Do we want to randomly choose from this, or do we want to just because these are all the SCP numbers, so I don't know what they actually mean.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I just picked the which one did I click on here? The top lowest rated page,
The ones that are
which is
okay.
5949 with a -16 rating.
Yeah, it's an object class Keter. Keter?
I think Keter. I've heard it
Both ways.
pronounced Keter. So what we got? It is kept in a room. It is a black storage chest that is 0.6 by 0.4 by 0.3 meters. I feel like
So
they could have used a different
Like
measurement
like
than meters.
centimeters? Like
Yep,
it's
that's
60
the one.
by 40 by 30, which means it's
Yeah.
like an inch by 2 inches about.
Uh-huh. And it doesn't have to be that big, because inside is cannabis rolled in paper, or as they call it in the industry, a joint.
Or a roach. Or a jay.
Or any other number of things.
So over 300 seconds has passed since the subject has had any cannabis like they demanded to have. So it just compulsory makes you want to smoke cannabis? Is that what this does?
Yeah, I think so. Anyone that's 5 meters will feel nauseous and desperately be asking for cannabis. After some time has passed, they will act emotional and persuade staff into letting them into the containment chamber. After 600 seconds pass, the subject will start acting aggressively and belligerent, causing them to become indignant, and will be aggressively interrogate for cannabis.
It's got to be interrogated.
That doesn't make sense.
Wait, aggressive.
That also doesn't make sense.
I think they're.
I think someone just like ran out of weed.
Yeah, and they were like, "Boy, I really want some weed."
Let's see what else we got. After 1,200 seconds being restricted from the chamber, they'll try to break into the chamber. Will be more resistant and insusceptible until they are less than 2 meters apart.
Okay.
So it doesn't say that people know that cannabis rolled in paper is in the SCP. So it would have to be like,
but it does
projecting something.
But it does this when the subject takes SCP-5949, it will be automatically lit for the subject to smoke. The subject will then smoke SCP whatever with no control of themselves. Once the subject has smoked, they will collapse a thick black acid of unknown substance will incapacitate the subject until they are submerged and corroded. Then they enter the cannabis dimension. Where the subject sees a lot of cannabis, but they have like they're foggy and they're disoriented. The subject sees the second SCP.
I think someone had a bad trip.
Yeah, this is kind of what that sounds like. So they okay, here we go. Bad writing tips, guys. Do not introduce a character without describing them and then describe them later on. It doesn't work.
Right.
So apparently there's a humanoid that will stab you in the bladder with a pitchfork. So that just is what it sounds like. This is just like a really it. You're right. We don't know if it's cannabis. It just doesn't sound like weed.
Right.
It sounds like this is just a really bad drug that you shouldn't be taking. But that's like highly addictive and alluring. We thought that this was gonna
and that's trying to set the just real good writing aside. I think it starts out with, if you are close enough to it, you will feel nauseous and desperately be asking for cannabis. It doesn't say that the person knows that there is cannabis or presumably cannabis in the SCP. It also doesn't say if that person smokes normally anyway. So, the SCP somehow has to be influencing someone to want to smoke, I guess, because it automatically becomes lit if you take it.
Yeah. I think so my guess is that is that there's like a pheromone or some kind of chemical that the person is breathing in that is it's like Narcan. Like it's like reducing their ability to make endorphins and maybe like serotonin or something like that. And and so they start just wanting just anything that will give them that. And it just and it does this so that the person will open the box and
because if they're just that desperate, they're just opening whatever containers to see if they can't find stuff.
Yeah, and once they do, they smoke it. It's just another biologic weapon, and as soon as they do, it jellifies their body.
That's the technical term.
Yeah, a thick black acid of unknown substance will incapacitate the subject until they are submerged and corroded. So it seems like it just like eats the person from the inside out. And then this cannabis dimension thing is just like their hallucinations as they slowly die.
Yeah, I think the cannabis dimension is definitely just in the person's mind after they
for sure
they do the thing.
For sure.
It doesn't specify if, after you close the box, if there's a new joint there, or if they have to, put a new one in.
Yeah, it doesn't explain that either. I think they probably have to put a new one in. It also doesn't specify, how do they know about the cannabis dimension if no one can really get out of it?
I think they do get out of it, right?
No, it says that this humanoid, the second half of this SCP, drags people into it.
Oh, yeah. Immense pain before they're deceased.
Yeah. So it seems like people are just dying. And
yeah.
Yeah. Huh. Well, that was actually more simple than I thought it was going to be. Let's avoid the lowest rated pages.
Yeah, no, they're lowest rated for a reason, I learned.
They are. Okay, I got a new one. God, it's another safe containment class.
That's fine.
I wish I could just look up By danger, because I want a dangerous one. I want one that's like so incredibly dangerous.
I think we did one or two of them, didn't we?
That are dangerous?
Yeah.
No, they were containment level Euclid, which was like, they were like, yeah, don't mess with it, but like, it's probably fine.
Oh, you want like the one that is an actual vampire, or the highest rated, like the statue thing that eats you.
Yeah.
Do we want to hit a fan favorite? Like one of the ones that everyone knows?
Sure. It's up
All
to
right,
you.
let's see.
I have a pipe organ that was played by Johann Sebastian Bach.
Yep, that's the same random one. If you want to start on that while I figure out which one is that statue that eats everybody, or like the stairwell one.
Okay. So this description is, it's a pipe organ that was played by Johann Sebastian Bach before being transported by German immigrants from Pomerania to the United States. This is SCP-5710. The SCP contains the church that was constructed by the immigrants, known as St. John's Lutheran Church in Wisconsin. Wait, okay. The anomalous properties of the SCP is that it manifests when the composition from the Bach Works catalog is played to completion within the St. John's Lutheran Church. The first person to exit through the main door of the church following the completion of the work will enter a temporal spatial anomaly. They will be displaced in time and space, exiting the church attended by Bach on the Sunday following his final revision to the piece played on that organ. The displaced person will exit the church just following J.S. Bach. And then it has been deemed safe.
I mean, do you get to come back? Or are you just like...
That's what I'm reading. I want to...
walk out into a different time. It's like, yeah, sure, it's fine. It's safe.
Yeah, just now you live in the 19th century. 1800s. Well, one second. But...
Comments by Bach. So I guess they're talking to Bach also about it?
Yeah, the effects of the works only manifest in those who hear the work while it's just being played. So like, if you're listening to Zeit an den Harnisch Goats, it's the pain tolerance of those who hear the work is increased. Like counter-programming to pieces to see through mimetic censoring. Listeners are forced to retreat away from confidential information. So this seems like...
So it has it has some sort of...
This sounds like the Brown Note, to be honest.
Yeah?
Like some kind of auditory mimetic device that causes you to vividly hallucinate.
That affects your brain function.
Yeah.
So that you are, phobic to hearing confidential information or...
Yeah.
Counter-programming pieces see through mimetic censoring. What a throwaway sentence that is.
Yeah, exactly. Listeners perceive enemy forces to be 10 times larger than they actually are. It seems like this is like it's like a programming device for the brain. Like it does like kind of like a hypnosis effect in very specific ways. But because it's...
And that,
yep.
I think plays into... Because it looks like they are interviewing Bach here with each of the pieces that are played.
Oh, you're right.
So I think that it is just like some sort of effect, and you like explain it away in your mind by like kicking it with Bach for the day.
Yeah. That's exactly what you do, though. You just kick it with Bach for a day. Yeah, that makes sense. It seems like nobody at the SCP really has, like, done a whole bunch of work on what's actually going on.
I mean, that's why we're here, Simon. To fill in the gaps.
I guess so. This has, like, a log of the interviews with Bach. That's kind of crazy. Anyway, did you find the staircase or the thingamabobber?
Yeah. Do you want to do the thingamabobber? Because it's Well, it's actually about as long as the staircase. But you want it dangerous, and if there's one that's dangerous, it's SCP-173. Which is, let me get a description. Is constructed, it's like a statue thing with a big old bloody head.
Oh.
It is constructed from concrete and rebar with traces of Krylon brand spray paint. It is animate and extremely hostile. The object cannot move while within a direct line of sight. Line of sight must not be broken at any time. Personnel assigned to enter the container are instructed to alert another before blinking. Object is reported to attack by snapping the neck at the base of the skull or by strangulation. In the event of an attack, personnel are to observe. Class 4, hazardous, blah blah blah. Personnel report sounds of scraping stones originating from within the container that it's stored in when no one is present. It's considered normal. Any change should be blah blah blah. The reddish-brown substance on the floor is a combination of feces and blood. Origin of these materials is unknown. Enclosure must be cleaned out bi-weekly.
Ha.
So it's a statue that can't move when you look at it.
So it sounds literally the exact same thing as the Weeping Angels.
Weeping Angels? Yeah. I mean, except it does commit murders instead of sending you back in time. And it does somehow cover the bottom of its container in blood and feces. So that's probably fine.
Is the blood and feces from the person it just killed, or is it generating the blood and feces?
I think it has to be generating the blood and feces because they have to clean it out every other week.
Gotcha. This is a toughie.
Right?
I think the way that we described the Weeping Angels, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but I think we described it like it was like a camouflage. Like like it wasn't a particularly intelligent creature, and it kind of like was like an opossum where it
it just froze.
Yeah. It is kind of crazy. It is made of concrete and rebar?
It is made out of concrete and rebar.
So no organics.
So yeah, presumably no organics.
Maybe, so I'm wondering like how it could move without like cracking.
Right. Yeah, I don't know.
So, okay, so
because apparently it can.
Well, how I'm seeing this is that it's the rebar is acting like joints. So here we go. The rebar
followed by a long pause.
Followed by a long pause as someone thinks about the words. So the rebar is being moved by like a manipulation of a magnetic field. Okay.
Okay.
And so the reason it's moving in like it's not like bending like as you would think rebar would, where it like just like bends wherever, just so that it's like the lowest what's the word, energy. So it just kind of like bends so that whatever is closest to the magnetic field comes to the magnetic field. Instead, its joints, the concrete that makes up the joints, is slightly weaker. It's actually set less than the concrete that makes up like the long bones or like the like what we would on the human body consider the points that don't move.
Right.
and I think it probably has like what we would see of as like osteocytes, so the cells that make bone. It has like osteocytes that make concrete at those joints, so it's constantly like destroying its own self and then like recreating
and, like,
it, and like that's kind of how it moves.
And that lines up with the hearing of sounds of scraping stone, so it's just moving, like looking for something to eat or kill. I guess it doesn't eat them. It just murders people.
So maybe it's just very scared.
Right. So it's like moving around just on its own accord when it isn't being seen, and it just continually healing those those joints.
Yeah. I don't know where the blood and the feces
Yeah, I
come
like
from.
that. Yeah, I was just gonna ask, where does all of the blood and feces come from?
So the thing I was coming up with was that maybe the blood and the feces is just like the waste product of all of the making of concrete. But I don't know why.
Why? Yeah. Or like what it is like eating to be able to make all of the concrete and blood and feces byproduct.
Yeah, because like if you're thinking like, oh, maybe it's just like consuming like stuff out of the air.
Mm-hmm.
Why does it? Why is it making blood and feces? So like, there's two ways of thinking of this. Either it's making the blood and feces as a byproduct of its own metabolism, or whatever it's eating contains blood and feces, and it is expelling it as a waste product. Um,
Yeah, I guess I don't think they like it doesn't mention feeding it anything, so I have to imagine it have to be a byproduct of its own metabolism.
That's what I was thinking too. But then I'm thinking, why? Like, hemoglobin is such a complex molecule. Why is it the
What it
yeah
has as a byproduct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess
ooh
some sort of
sorry
biological way of making concrete would also be kind of complex.
that's true. So that was my original like. I was thinking maybe the process of like if it ate the people it killed, then it'd be like maybe it's just like throwing away the blood and the feces.
Yeah.
And it's just like using like the bone essentially to make concrete because it needs silica. You need silica and a bunch of other stuff. Like the majority of concrete is just sand and like long chain organics. Or no, that's asphalt. I don't remember what concrete's in. I know it's sand and it's something else. I should because technically I'm a civil engineer, but I haven't actually done any civil engineering in my entire life.
Right. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess.
So here's the thing I was thinking. You know how animals will poop when they're scared? As like either a way of like lightening the load or like
Or deterring
yeah
predators from attacking them.
yeah. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe this is just like a creature that's always scared. Like it
Yeah, I think that plays in well, especially with what you were saying earlier as the camouflage. It just like murders so that it doesn't get predated on and murdered itself.
yeah. And it just has like several. It has camouflage. It also will be like, okay, these are gross things. I'm just gonna leak them constantly. But then it's also like, okay, if something's gonna get through my camouflage and then also get to my gross stuff, I'm just gonna kill it because clearly it doesn't care.
Because it has any other option.
Yeah.
Well, it's locked in a room,
Yeah.
so it doesn't have any other options. So yeah,
It's
I like
cornered.
that. That works.
Yeah. Well, that was fun. See?
Yeah.
What? Killing a... Okay, sorry, I'm on a completely different one. This one is apparently object class safe, but that there's a line in it that says that it kills a person before their birth,
All right.
which makes me think that maybe it's not safe.
Right.
And if you're like, oh well, only if you direct this SCP at something does it kill someone before their birth. I'm like, I don't know if I would consider like, yeah, if I shoot someone, they're dead. I don't consider a gun safe though. Like,
Right.
anyway, I think that's good. I think we've done enough.
Yeah, Oh, hey, that's been an hour.
Yeah, it's been an hour.
That one was quick.
Yeah, here's This is so crazy, man. There's so many crazy things in this site.
Yeah.
Like just like the breadth of it, the breadth of materials and objects that are added. I just came across one. So we had that mitten before. I just came across one that was a Tunisia Sahara class siege cannon built in the Tibetsi mountain range of Chad. It is a German. It's a design similar to the German Big Bertha howitzer. Anyway, So yeah, that was our show. That was our podcast about SCP. If you see one of these things in the world, don't
run away.
Yeah. No, do run away. Don't approach them. Thanks for listening. Feel free to.
We enjoyed having you, listener.
Yeah. Feel free to like and subscribe to us on all of your podcasting apps, except for Podbean.
Except for the one Simon uses.
What else we got?
We have a website. Pedantichandwavium.com. You can go there, give us show suggestions, or just chat. Tell us how your day's been.
Yeah, tell us what you like about the show. Tell us what you don't like about the show. We always like getting feedback.
What else?
We're on Twitter.
Twitter at phandwavium.
Yep. You can
we got a YouTube.
Yep, we got YouTube. All of our shows are also on YouTube. Just in case you want to tell someone, because you definitely do want to tell someone about this podcast, and they're like, "Yeah, I don't want to do a podcasting app." You could be like, "Yeah, but do you want to fall asleep to two people talking? Watch it on YouTube." I say that because I know several people who I've introduced to podcasts that way, namely my brother.
Yeah.
I don't know. What else do we have? Is that it?
We did list 7 things. And by 7, I mean maybe 3 or 4. But those are a lot of internet presences.
Yeah. And you should just keep on keeping on. Keep on listening. Yeah. I'm out of ideas, so I think that's the end.
What else? We got Joe Sopchak.
Oh, there you go.
Who made the music. Someone. We can thank that fellow. Thank you, Joe Sopchak, for the theme music.
Yep. And
I think that's it.
I believe that is it. I knew I was forgetting something, man. Anyway.
All right. Yep. Well, goodbye, listener.
Goodbye.
We enjoyed having you.
Yep.
Good night. We love you.